Hello everyone, I'm Fozzie or Cam, and I'm here as always with my co-host Will. How you doing today, Will?
Doing great, Cam. 2 days away from a movie that I am so excited for, despite some critics not giving it the best reviews. I'm psyched for
Yes.
Quantumania coming out this Friday. Doing great, trying to keep my patience over these final 2 days of waiting, but
Yeah,
I'm doing great. And how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. As you said, Quantumania coming soon. I cannot wait for this movie. But we'll touch on that a little later in this episode because we had the Ted Lasso teaser trailer. I just wanted to mention real quick. That came out. It didn't show much, but I know we're both big fans of Ted Lasso,
Yeah.
and yeah, it looks good. It looks fun. Let's
Yeah, and I thought, yeah.
it didn't show much, obviously, but I'm excited to dive back into these characters again.
Yeah, so am I. And I thought believe message that they, put across the trailer was a, appropriate theme for the show. So as you said, yeah, I also thought it was a really fun little teaser, and I assume that we'll get, a more in-depth trailer as we get closer toward the release of the show later this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Well, I pretty much know we're gonna get that, so I'm excited to see and more trailers what's going on with Nate, and
Ooh, Nate.
his villainous activities.
Oh my gosh, Nate can't
Yeah,
can't can't stand him now. And at first you
he was great.
liked him, and then it's definitely like the most heartbreaking turn
Yeah,
from a character in the whole show.
and
Awful.
I get to see the return of my favorite character in the entire show, and one of my favorite TV show characters, Roy Kent. I love
Yes.
Roy.
Yeah.
Um,
Roy's great. Yeah, he's great.
yeah. Obviously, Ted and Coach Beard's coming back. Really excited. But yeah, like I said, we didn't get a whole lot to discuss. So when we get a longer trailer, we'll talk about it more.
Yeah, of course.
But now I'd like to discuss the Super Bowl, which happened last week,
Yeah.
which was fantastic. The game was great. The everything about it was great. The ads were great. The game was great. The Super Bowl halftime show was great. I really liked it. Um, but why don't we start off with the game? It was a good game. I have to say, I kind of was right when I said KC was gonna win. That was my prediction, I believe. Um, so yeah, I'm happy I got that prediction right there. But how do you feel about the game, Will?
Yeah, I had the Chiefs as well because I just thought at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes was and is just that dude. He is the best quarterback in the NFL right now, and I think he just continues to prove that year after year and game after game. And
Yeah,
I thought it was a fantastic game. You know, Jalen Hurts, I really want to give him props. This guy got yanked, got pulled from a national championship game because of how poorly he was playing. And this is like the biggest game of his life since then. And all that guy goes out and does is rush for 3 TDs and rush for a pivotal 2 point conversion. So I was nothing but impressed
yeah.
with his performance as well. I thought it was a fantastic game. The holding call at the end, which caused a
It
lot of controversy.
which
I
makes
Come
sense.
on, yeah. Like, do we really have to call that?
It's the
I
Super
mean,
Bowl.
it's the Super Bowl. Hadn't been called before. Wasn't even that much of a hold if it was a hold at all. So, uh, that was a little ridiculous to me. Like I wanted to be able to like definitively say that like the Chiefs won the Super Bowl or definitively say that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs, they earned it, but that call, I don't, I did not agree with it, and I think that kind of tampers down
Yeah,
the Chiefs' win a bit. So it was a disappointing end to what I thought was a
great game.
remarkable game and great play by two of the best young QBs in the game right now.
Yeah. I was impressed with both teams. I just thought that call kind of messed things up. And do I think we should discredit the Chiefs or completely like, well, this doesn't count as a Super Bowl win for them?
No,
No, they earned
no,
it.
of
They
course,
earned it fair and square. I mean, sure that call could have been not called. But the Chiefs played a good game. If
of
they
course.
didn't, then they wouldn't have won. You know, I feel like. Um, but yeah, overall, a really fun game to watch. I really enjoyed it. It was close most of the way through. Um, and the halftime show, well, I enjoyed it. What about you?
I enjoyed it too, and I think like these Super Bowl halftime shows are really actually more about the skeptical and the dancing and the entertainment instead of just actually sitting down and watching and listening to the lyrics of the song. And I thought from like an entertainment and in a putting on a show standpoint, Rihanna did a fantastic job. All of those dancers and people that she had up there on stage with her were fantastic. And I really thought she pulled off, what people come to a Super Bowl halftime show for, which isn't really to like dive into and
Yeah,
get into the
just have
nitty gritty,
fun.
yeah, of the lyrics of the songs. It's more about watching a performance and watching dancers and it being about more of the entertainment
Yeah,
and show aspect of it. And I thought she pulled it off extremely well.
and she did it all while pregnant, which was
Yes, incredible.
yeah,
Props, props to her. And by the way, I mean her song. I know she didn't play it. You and Cole last week, and thanks to Cole for filling in for me. You and Cole last week were speculating about whether she would play "Lift Me Up" from Wakanda Forever. Obviously, she didn't. But I would just like to say I thought she did a fantastic job with that song and so perfectly captured the tone of the movie that Wakanda Forever was.
yeah, I agree. And I guess it makes sense that she didn't play it because I wasn't expecting her to go with those stages and stuff. Because if it were more like a stage on the ground the whole time, then I could see her doing it. But then she kind of went up in the air and stuff, so it kind of made sense. She couldn't really do like a sad song, you know.
Yeah.
But all the songs she did choose, Umbrella being one of my favorites, I was awesome. It was so entertaining. Run This Town I also enjoyed. Do I wish Jay-Z came out for his verse in that song? Yes. But did it really affect my enjoyment of the halftime show? Not at all. I thought Rihanna was great and the dancers were great. And people are saying she was lip syncing. I don't know. It kind of looked like she was singing. It sounded like that. She has a good voice.
Yeah, I mean until I like officially hear that from her people, I'm not gonna assume that she was doing that. I'll give her the benefit
Yeah,
of the doubt on that.
yeah, totally. The ads during the Super Bowl were super entertaining. Yeah, that's all I gotta say there. I mean, that's kind of what you expect from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, never is there a time that, me or, probably everybody is more intrigued about ads
Yeah,
on TV than the Super Bowl because I mean, you had like all these, little clips, informing you that new trailers were coming out. You had, Guardians 3, Indiana Jones, The
The
Flash,
Flash.
like just a bunch.
Yeah,
So and a bunch of, famous actors in these ads. So Super Bowl ads are always something to behold, and it's always interesting to see what they to see what they have for you that year.
yeah, it was some really exciting ads that I just enjoyed watching. Speaking of which, we had some really cool trailers in there too. We had the Guardians trailer, which didn't add anything new to what I was
Yeah,
thinking. I liked the first trailer more just because of the song they used.
same.
It mostly showed the same kind of footage. I didn't add anything new, which I'm fine with. Didn't give anything crazy that we haven't seen away. Um, I also thought the trailer for The Flash was probably the best one we got. I'm I'm a pretty big DC fan, and I know you're not, so that might not have resonated as much with you. But did you still enjoy the Flash trailer, or do you plan on
I
watching it?
did. Yeah, and yeah, I did, and yeah, I'm sure I'll check it out around the time of its release so we can discuss it on
Of
this
course,
podcast.
yeah,
And the Guardians 3 trailer, I'm with you. I enjoyed the first one more. Obviously, comedy is something that you come to the
yeah,
Guardians for, but this is also been teased as the most mature Guardians film yet. So, this second trailer they played, for like jokes and fun the whole time, which is fine, but I don't think that's, what
yeah,
the entire movie is going to be like. So
of
I
course,
think I thought the first trailer did a better job of capturing uh the movie that I think I will see.
yeah, yeah, and like I said, not a bad trailer.
No.
We also got a TV spot, I guess, for Indiana Jones 5, Dial of
Yeah.
Destiny.
I mean, just nice to see an iconic
Yeah,
character on the TV and back on the big screens again this summer. I mean, I will absolutely there'll be nothing that'll stop me from seeing it unless the reviews are just horrid, and it'll be great to talk about here on this podcast.
yeah. And did you notice the de aging on Harrison Ford in the
Yeah, I think I did.
looks?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks crazy good.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
really happy with that. I'm really happy with all of it so far. It's looking to be like a really solid Indiana Jones
Looks
movie.
good. Yeah.
Do I
I
think it will
agree.
be?
It looks good.
Do I think it'll live up, even rival the first three movies? No. Do I think it'll be better than the fourth one? Yes, I do. I feel like it will surpass the fourth movie because of the whole alien thing. Um, but yeah, excited for all the trailers we saw. And I also want to talk about, well, not a trailer here, but a movie that I will be seeing tomorrow, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Also, expect a short coming out from me giving my out of theater reactions slash review of the movie. Um, I am expecting a positive review, but I don't want to put my expectations too high because we have some bad reviews. And folks, we do this a lot on the podcast, but it's time to read some reviews. Usually, when we get reviews that are mixed or bad or even good, I like to look at some of the reviews and just read them out. See what people are thinking. So we'll start off with a bad review that I read before I started filming this episode. Wow, this is harsh. Well,
Oh boy.
so you've for all our viewers out there, you guys have heard of the film Spy Kids, right? The cheap kids movie. So this reviewer, she's a critic, but she's not a top critic. She says, if you're going down the family action adventure road, I take Spy Kids over Quantumania any day. That is
That's
insane.
that's harsh, man.
I
Wow.
haven't I haven't seen the movie, and I just know that's ridiculous. Because then you have these reviews that say, humble MCU franchise spreads its wings, delivers big time villain and thrills. Like, that is what that is exactly what I was expecting from the movie. Not it to be worse than Spy Kids. Let's read a review from a top critic. Scott's entire personality, the whole of his character, is defined by I love my daughter Cassie. Where is Cassie? What have you done with Cassie? So he's saying that's his entire arc in the movie.
Well, my retort to that would be, why shouldn't this guy care about his daughter and
Yeah.
not want her to get lost or die
And
in
this
something
guy's
as freaky as the quantum realm? So that would be my retort to that, Mr. Top Critic.
yeah, this sounds like an oversimplification of the character arc we're gonna get here. I also want to mention the runtime at 2 hours and 5 minutes. Do you think that's a little too short, Will?
Should be fine. If it was under 2 hours, I would say, boy, I think that's a bit short. I mean, for something that's like big and epic and pivotal in installment, as this is, I might expect it to be around like more like 2.5 hours. But Too short. I'll say no. I'll say just about the right time. But do
Yeah,
you think
but
it's a
it's longer
do
than
you think
all.
it's a bit short?
Uh, yes and no, because it is the longest of the Ant-Man franchise, which kind of makes sense there. And Multiverse of Madness was technically shorter, and I still
Right.
love that.
And
My
it
only
and it
concern,
and it felt like the perfect length to
yeah,
me. Like felt great.
yeah, my only concern is, you know what other movie was also short but wasn't as good? Thor: Love and Thunder.
That's a good
Um,
point.
but do I think this will be like Thor: Love and Thunder? No, not really. Let's try to find another review here. Oh, let's read this positive review, which doesn't look like that positive of a review. This person, he's a top critic. He says it's all entertaining enough, but Quantumania seems like an in-between enterprise, another chess move in the superhero series. Yes, that is another thing I was expecting. It's the first movie of Phase 5, like a pilot episode of a TV show almost. It needs to get it needs to create paths for other things to go, you know? It needs to start things. It needs to lead up to things, you know? That's the job. It's the first movie of Phase 4. I don't know what they were expecting going into that, but that is kind of part of this movie's job, to lead
Yeah,
into more movies.
and we've already learned that it's going to lead into the events of the movie Avengers: The Kang Dynasty,
Yeah,
and they're literally promoting this movie with the catchphrase "Witness the beginning of a new
yeah.
dynasty." So, as you're saying, what else would you expect? Especially because the villain is going to appear in more projects than just this.
Yeah, and speaking of which, in a past appearance from Jonathan Majors, I am going to have to rewatch the finale of Loki because I just want to see some more Jonathan Majors and compare
I
his
think I'm
character
gonna
there
do that
to.
at I think I'm gonna do that at some time too, just to make sure I'm just fully ready to
Yeah,
see, this variant of He Who Remains.
yeah. Let's read one more bad review and then we'll try to find a positive review. This person is not a top critic, and he says the Quantum Realm offers dazzling eye candy, but the novelty does not last, and the lack of freshness continues with the threadbare plot that tries to distract from the fact that this film exists mainly to introduce a new Marvel phase. What did I just say? I literally just said this, but I was happy about it. I don't know why this guy is kind of annoyed by this, cause I will be happy. I will be perfectly happy if this movie manages to stand on its own and be better than all the other Ant-Man movies, or at least equal to the original, which I really liked, and it's able to branch off into the King Dynasty. That will be exactly what I want. So I don't understand why people are getting annoyed with this, because it's a cinematic universe. It's supposed to move on to the next thing. I mean, you
Yeah,
understand that. It's
and allow me to say this. Why is somebody saying like something like 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 that when I feel like last year everybody was complaining about how like Marvel didn't have a plan and all these projects were like solo to each other and like weren't like leaning towards some like bigger plan, and now like this guy seems to be like complaining about
yeah.
something that I feel like people wanted Marvel to get toward last year. So I find that inconsistent.
Yeah, that's just kind of annoying because I feel like people are now we've entered the phase where Marvel is so big and people are just hating on it to hate on it. And sure, Marvel movies are not the peak of cinema, but they are so enjoyable to watch.
Well, I think the issue may actually be less about quality but quantity, and just that there's so much Marvel content coming out on the small screen and the big screen that people just get tired of it and think, oh, like, do we have to have this much superhero content in our lives? It's taking away from other great films which should be getting more attention. So
Which is
I
true,
think people's
but
complaint is less about the quality, but more just that they're super annoyed with just like how much superhero
yeah.
content comes out every year. I think that's what the main issue is with
And I
most.
feel like the most of the people who are saying that are people who don't follow the MCU and just watch like a movie here or there to review it, you know. So I feel like that's just not a fair
Yeah.
thing to
Whereas us,
do.
like, we are fans and like we consider the MCU a pivotal part of our lives, especially at our age. So
Yeah.
we, especially at our ages, so we look at it through a totally different lens.
Yeah. Let's look at this positive review, a 2.5 out of 4, which isn't crazy positive, but I want to read his review. Um, Despite some flaws, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is a joyride because it does not take itself too seriously. You won't either, which is the best way to experience this latest Marvel adventure. That is exactly what I was expecting. Plus some lead ups to the next movie. That I'm fine with that. That does not warrant a 2.5 out of 4 for me. That's good. Well, that's what I want.
I'm
I
with you. Yeah,
I'm
I totally agree.
I'm happy with this. I'm just don't understand why people are disappointed. Oh man. I also want to take a moment to talk about Jonathan Majors because everyone is praising both him and actually Michelle Pfeiffer, um, which I'm very happy about because I had high hopes for Kang going into this, and now hearing that he lives up to all this hype, I am so happy. And I also hear that Hope, the Wasp, is completely sidelined. She is just
Yeah.
thrown to the side. She's literally in the title of the
Wow.
movie. And sure, she might not be my favorite character or the most
Same with me.
compelling character. She's in the title of the movie. So if you want to sideline her like that, maybe just don't put her name in the title. I don't know.
I feel like if they removed her name from the title, though, people would start accusing Marvel of
Yes.
being like sexist and all these things. So I actually think they're making a smart decision keeping her
Yeah, I
name in
get
there
it.
because I think if they didn't, it would just be in just an uproar of
Yeah,
complaints and stuff.
I would probably keep her in the movie if this were up to me. I wouldn't put her name in the title, and then I'd probably give her a TV show or her own project to get her more time to shine. I mean, if you're not gonna put her in this movie, might as well do that.
Sure.
I also heard Michael Douglas as Hank Pym will also be sidelined, and I believe he's going to die in this movie. But now that I'm hearing that he's sidelined, I don't know how accurate that is. I also do not think we're gonna lose Cassie because she's just such a pivotal part of the movie. And I'm excited to see the relationship with Cassie and Scott now that she's older, you know. And we saw her getting out of jail on that one scene in the trailer. So excited to see where that's gonna head, you know.
Yeah, and that's been described as the heart of the movie, a father and
Yeah.
daughter trying to reconnect after 5 lost years. And I think that's a really, great, theme to have because, that's what everybody should be trying to do after the events of the blip in the last two Avengers films.
Yeah, I, 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 I am excited for this movie.
I'm psyched, yeah.
I am excited for this movie. I just don't even care what the critics are saying right now until I see it for myself. And if the reviews were better, then yeah, I'm gonna admit it would get me even more excited. But I'm excited as is, and I just want to form my own opinion here.
The re
Whenever there are negative reviews for movies I'm expecting to be good, I just want to see for myself, you know?
Totally. And folks, here is the reason that I do not trust critics when it comes to Marvel. The Eternals reviewed badly. I didn't think it was anywhere close to bad. Multiverse of Madness did not get astonishingly great reviews by any stretch of the imagination last year. Roger Ebert's website gave it only 2 stars. And I thought it was epic, an all-time great Marvel movie. And, the whole thing that we were talking about earlier with Marvel being so popular that people, get tired of it and might critique it just because they're so annoyed with it being in their lives so much. There's just so much. I've just been down this path before where a Marvel movie doesn't get great reviews, and I think it's epic. I've just been down this path before, and that's why I just don't trust critics when it comes to their reviews for Marvel movies. I almost
Yeah.
feel like they're scared to praise them because it'll make them sound like super fans, and that's not what they
Yeah.
want to try and portray themselves as.
Yes, because I feel like people don't even view Marvel movies as real movies anymore. And to a point, I guess that's kind of right. Like I said, it's not like 100%.
Right.
It's not The Godfather. It was never going to be this beautifully shot, beautifully acted, perfectly scripted, beautiful effects. That was never what it's going to be. It's fun. I mean, Martin
But
Scorsese.
a movie that I do think, had those things was a movie like Avengers Endgame. That's like a flawless movie to me.
Yeah, and Martin Scorsese said this, but in a negative way. He said going to see a Marvel movie is like an amusement park ride. Doesn't sound bad to me, Martin. Uh, Sorry to break it to you, but that sounds fine to me, and that is exactly what I want when I watch a Marvel movie. Some escapism, some high quality escapism that I can just enjoy from start to finish, and that is what I have been getting from since I've been watching Marvel movies, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm going to continue to be a Marvel fan. I just it kind of annoys me when people just think they're too good for Marvel movies.
I'm
Uh
not too, I'm not too good for them at all.
no,
I
of
am in
course
the
not.
absolute most prime age to be into them, and I'm just gonna enjoy this age of my life while it's here.
Yeah, totally. Now I'd like to take a moment to talk about Creed 3. We just got the final trailer for Creed 3 today. Looks awesome, and it's the first time I've ever really enjoyed listening to a Drake song. So I'm excited for this movie. And Soups, who's a popular movie reviewer on the internet, he's mostly known for his Marvel, DC reviews, but he often gets early access to these movies, and he was able to see Creed 3. He didn't give any spoilers away at all, but he came out of the theater and he said it was great. I believe he said it was the best Creed movie of the series. Um, he said it was beautifully shot. He said Michael B. Jordan was amazing. So I know it's like a world premiere thing, and usually everyone has positive feelings after seeing it in the world premiere. Uh, but Soups is usually a trusted reviewer. I've seen a few of his reviews before, and I usually agree. Um, so I'm kind of hoping he's right. I'm hoping he's right, but I kind of think he is right. And I'm really excited for this movie now, even more than I was now, knowing that Michael B. Jordan was awesome and without Rocky. So, super excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing from any of the trailers that have come out that make me think this won't be a great movie. And I think the smartest thing that they're doing is, not just introducing another fighter or another rival to Adonis Creed, but bringing back somebody from his childhood, someone that he has a history with, and you'll be able to learn even more about his background. So I think they're just doing an excellent job with that from the standpoint of Jonathan Major's villain character. And yeah, I think that this Creed installment has the chance to be every bit as strong as the previous two,
Of course.
which are both movies that I love and think are as good as any in the Rocky and Creed franchises.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see this movie because Michael B. Jordan, his character in the movie, Adonis, hasn't been fighting for years. He has his daughter who's grown up a little bit, and she's deaf, as we know, and we get to see a little more of his daughter in the movie, which was cool. Got to see a little bit more of him not fighting and just being retired almost. Um, we got a few clips from the training montage, kinda. A few little snippets. So looking really good, and especially after that awesome review from Soups, I am so excited for this movie.
As am I.
Also, I heard, I forgot to mention this, but Soups also said that Jonathan Majors once again stole the show, just like he does in Quantumania, apparently. So, this guy, he's getting bigger and bigger. Well, Jonathan Majors. I thought he was really good in Loki. I thought he was a really cool character, and he played it really well. And now seeing him in both trailers, he just looks he has a little he has like an edge to him. He has a this seriousness, this calm but focused and seriousness that I'm seeing from both roles is just really cool and really impressive. So I'm so excited to see Jonathan Majors in another show stealing role.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally expect him to be extremely high on my list of favorite actors after I see these
Yeah,
two films. His acting in the trailers have been nothing short of fantastic to me.
yeah, totally. I'm just so excited to see him act like crazy in both these movies. So this truly is the year of Jonathan Majors.
And
And
the year of him playing two
yeah,
villains as well. So,
and guess what?
credit.
His career's only going up. It's only getting better.
Oh, yeah,
And
no
I'm
doubt
just so
about it.
excited. I am so excited. But yeah, that just about does it for today's episode of the Everything Podcast. Do you have anything else to add, Will?
Despite what the critics say, just still absolutely psyched for Quantumania. I think it's going to be an epic movie, the
Yep.
best Ant-Man installment yet. And I can't wait to what I assume will be a solo episode totally on that next week.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Everything Podcast. Will, thanks for joining me. And Cole, thanks for joining me last episode again. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.